All right, this is what I have to say about the media.
All right, what do you got to say, bro?
This is going back to what we were talking about.
As we transition into the media. From Joe Rogan to the media, baby.
Yep, there you go. Joe Rogan is my preferred source of media.
Yeah.
Which,
he's a pretty smart guy.
I pretty much hate all media. But what you were saying about earlier about what we were talking about earlier about people who already have their minds made up, who already are, But the 24-hour news cycle is what blows my mind, and it's much like the flat Earth. It's like, how does somebody spend their whole life just watching Fox News or just watching CNN or just watching one freaking news station and then just going all in on it and only talking about that and only having an opinion on that? Like, how miserable is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like, it's almost like it's brainwashing.
Yeah.
It almost is like that. But, I mean, the problem that I run into on that is, people have way too much freaking time on their hands, and they're not utilizing it in a productive way by just sitting on the couch and watching this TV. Like, I'm sorry. There's way more shit to do, and even if you're old like my grandma, you can find other things to do. There's other things to do rather than just sit there and watch a 24-hour news cycle. Because the more you watch something like Fox News or on the other side like MSNBC or, CNN that literally talks about Russia all goddamn day when there's so much more happening out there in the world. We the war in Yemen that we're in, and the fact that our country supports 73% of all dictators around the world, even though we want to spread democracy. It's mind-boggling that they focus on whatever is just going to get them the next headline or the next, boost in ratings and things like that. And I just feel like channels like that have lost their journalistic integrity a long time ago.
Yeah. It sucks because there's an extreme to every freaking side. And it's just unbelievable. But it's what we got to deal with, and I just wish we had a better way to... Because it seems like the majority of people are moderate, you know what I mean? The majority of people aren't extreme right or extreme left. So how do we get together and talk about shit and make an impact, Yeah,
and I mean, everybody talks about having some sort of third party besides Democrat and Republican. The thing is that is literally never going to happen, because what happens is that the parties will end up changing their platform to go along with whatever the majority of their base is starting to think. Dude, the Democratic Party used to be super racist. Super racist. It almost used to be the Democratic Party was the Republicans they are now. It used to be vice versa almost.
Really?
Back in the day, yeah. Yeah, and whenever the civil rights happened, I think that was Lyndon B. Johnson, I want to say, who came in after Nixon, if I have my history right. I don't know. I'm so terrible at facts. But I think when he signed that, that Civil Rights Act, they lost the South. Democrats lost the South because all of those Democrats were super pissed, and because that's how they used to think. But 40 years later, they don't think like that, but they still have no control over the South anymore because of that. So it's just that's the only thing that I think is preventing a third party from rising, is the fact that both parties are actually willing to change, depending on how their base is voting and how they're thinking. And if it hasn't happened after this past election, I really don't think it ever will. But I don't want to say ever because,
Yeah.
ever is forever.
You would
So,
think,
anything can happen.
After this election and after this president that we have now, that a third party would be is where it's leading because people are going to be a little bit more aware at the next election of what they're voting for. I would hope so.
Exactly.
Maybe not. I'd be giving people too much credit, but
man, I really think there's a blue wave coming. There is. I don't necessarily agree with everything on the left. I think some of them are still warmongering pieces of shit, and